Hi everybody, welcome back. If you don't know, my name is Cooper, and today we're going to be talking about things that I would buy from IKEA as a designer. So we all know IKEA, right? They have a wide variety of different home items that can either be really great or really horrible. I really like to think of IKEA as having this duality of half of it being like horribly made and cheap quality, and the other half being timeless pieces that are designed with intention and thought. Honestly, I would probably say it's more like a 70-30, 70 being the mostly cheaply made stuff, but there are a couple pieces that you can find there that are really nice. Before we jump into the video, I wanted to talk a little bit about IKEA as a brand. They don't necessarily carry luxury home objects, but they can be a really incredible toolbox for your home if used intentionally and sparsely. You definitely don't want to make your whole house all IKEA because then it'll just start to feel like an IKEA showroom or just a really sterile bargain hotel vibe. Bottom line is, not everything should come from IKEA, but a little bit sprinkled in, that's fine. The key to buying things from IKEA is it's not necessarily what you buy, but rather the way that you style it in your space. I also just wanted to let you guys know that you shouldn't go to IKEA first. Of course, they have some affordable stuff, but you always want to look for things vintage first. It's 100% going to be better quality. It's going to look nicer in your home. And even if you really want that one thing from IKEA, you can definitely find it secondhand. So make sure you look on Facebook Marketplace, look around at your local vintage stores, so that way you're not overspending on something or missing out on an opportunity to have something much more unique. With that said, let's get into the rest of the video. So the first thing that I would buy from IKEA would be the Grimsorbo side table. When I was browsing the IKEA website for this video, this was the first time I had ever seen it, and I thought, oh my gosh, how did I miss this? I think it would work really nicely as a little pop of color in a den or a living room, and it has this kind of sculptural but almost kitschy vibe to it. It also has this really wonderful removable wooden top so you can store things inside. I also think this would be a great opportunity to either stain or put a lacquer on the wood since it is like a raw plywood. I think if you have a little bit more of a neutral color palette and you're looking for something to liven up your space, this would be a great option for you. This next item is going to be highly contested in the comments section because of all of the controversy and drama surrounding it in my viewers. For some reason, this couch really puts people up in arms. So the next thing that I would recommend you buy is the Jattebo sofa. If you haven't watched me before, you probably don't understand the background here. I had made a video a while back saying that I didn't like this couch because I had heard that it was really uncomfortable and I would never recommend something that was said to be uncomfortable. However, I later went into the IKEA store. I was just shopping around with my boyfriend and I sat on the couch, and I guess everybody was lying because it wasn't uncomfortable at all to me. Was it like the softest thing that I've ever sat on? No. I would just say it's more of like a medium firm type of couch. So now knowing what I know, I can confidently recommend this to you guys. Do I recommend you spend $1,700 on a couch? Absolutely not. I have a really great authentic mid-century couch in my own home, and I got it for $700 on Facebook Marketplace. So you don't need to buy a brand new couch to have a really pretty and nice couch. Please don't spend $1,700 on this. I'm sure there's so many vintage options out here that have a very similar look. I would also say if you're going to buy the Jattebo sofa, I would make sure that you only buy the modular pieces that don't have arms. I don't really love the look of the arms on this couch, so I would just stack 3 of those inner pieces just to create a simple and nice couch. One thing that I also really like about this couch is that it has under-seat storage, which is pretty huge. This would be a great idea for a small apartment or a really small space. So now I want to talk about some lighting with you guys because IKEA does a couple things pretty well, and I would say that lighting is definitely one of them. The first lamp that I would recommend to you guys is going to be the Spetsboj lamp. I really love this lamp, and I honestly almost bought it for my own home last time I was at IKEA. I think it's so cute, it's so adorable, it's really minimal and simple, but also lets off this really nice soupy glow, which I think is really great. I think this would look amazing in in a kitchen space, or I could even see this working well on bedside tables, just two matching ones in a guest room. I think this is a really great mixing piece if you have a lot of vintage furniture and want to kind of add a modern air to your space without it feeling sterile. I think this buttery yellow color does a really great job of doing that. With this lamp coming in at $19.99, I would say that it's a little overpriced for what you're getting. However, I do think that this lamp would be worth it if you really like it and you know it would look good in your home. So the next item that I'm going to be talking to you guys about isn't something that I ever see get brought up when it comes to designers or decorators talking about IKEA, and that is the Ledsjo vanity lights. You might be saying, Cooper, why are you recommending this to us? These are just some simple vanity lights, but I just need to tell you guys my vision here. In my daily life, I like to look at historical references to interior design, and these are such a timeless piece. They are made so well. I've seen them in store, and I would say if you are curious about how I would style this, I would say make sure you have a more Art Deco or dramatic, moody style to put these in your space, because they might look a little bit off. You might be thinking these are kind of dressing room looking, and I totally understand that. I would say I would put these in my bathroom just to have some extra lighting in the morning. I could also really see these being styled in a living room asymmetrically, but I would say make sure you have sculptural furniture, really bold, almost biomorphic looking pieces in your home if you want to include this in a main living or dining space. This does come in at $79.99, which I think is a little bit more expensive. I think that if it was priced more so around $50, it might be a little bit more realistic of a purchase, but you know, the tariffs have come in and really affected the prices at IKEA, so you know, that's just another reason to go and buy more vintage. The next piece of furniture that I wanted to talk about is the Linneback chair in olive green. I actually had this chair in my first college dorm. I really loved it. It was super comfortable. I think this would work really wonderfully as a outdoor chair just because it's so durable, and the materials I think are weather resistant. It has a lightweight but also architectural silhouette. Again, this one comes in at $70, and that's just a little bit too much for me with this chair, but I definitely see these circulating on Facebook Marketplace all the time. They also make it in a black color, which is really nice. One thing that I will note about this chair is that if you have lighter flooring, I wouldn't do this inside because it'll really emphasize all that metal on the bottom, and it might make it feel a little bit busy in your space. So if you have, you know, a darker, more moody room, I would say this is a better option for you because those dark legs will kind of blend in with the floor a little bit more and not be as loud. Another chair that I just found out about is the Lyckan chair in yellow. So this is a dining chair or a desk chair. Hear me out because I know what you're thinking. This is a very kitschy piece and I totally understand that. But it has this playful kind of nostalgic vibe to it. I would say my application of this would be in a more minimalist style dining room that leans very neutral, and then putting these chairs in there just as a nice pop of color. I sincerely apologize for the IKEA product photos. They are not well styled. So IKEA, if you want to hire me to do your styling, I'm not going to be opposed to that. These chairs I think are cute and really kitschy. They are very bright and bold. So if that's not your style, maybe avoid these guys. So now I want to talk about some textiles from IKEA, because this is another one of those things that I think IKEA does pretty well across the board. So the first textile that I wanted to talk about is bedding. Not a lot of IKEA bedding I really love, but I will say that this set, the Osinski duvet in blue gray, is really nice. There's been this whole interior design trend around the color light blue lately, and I honestly love it. I think that if you're trying to achieve that look, I would say that this duvet cover is a really great option for you. It has that more minimalist, nice, clean look to it, and if you're looking for a more contrasting moment, you could pair this with a burgundy pillow. That's a color combination I've been really loving lately, or a nice dark brown would also work. Lastly, I wanted to talk about some curtains from IKEA because they do curtains really well, to be honest. The first curtains that I wanted to mention are the D-tag curtains. These are a little bit more more heavyweight and are really great if you want a more muted, elegant style and kind of want your curtains to blend in with the wall a little bit more. And the second pair of curtains that I wanted to talk about is the Lenda curtains. These I had in my last apartment and I still have them. They're just packed away in a box. They'll probably end up going in here, my office, or my bedroom at some point. Those are honestly really wonderful. They're a little bit sheer, but they're this nice, soft, warm, buttery color that just warms the space so much and is really great if you have a little bit more of a casual style or are looking for something to really soften and warm up your space a little bit. Another thing I wanted to mention is the IKEA track system. I just wanted to quickly throw this in here because if you're going to get curtains or drapes for your home, definitely get a track rail from IKEA. They're pretty affordable and they just look so much more seamless in your space and allow the curtains to move so much more easily. So definitely opt for those if you're going to get some curtains from IKEA. That is all the pieces that I have for you guys today that I'm liking at IKEA right now. Again, please opt for vintage if you can. It's always better. Let me know what you guys think about these in the comments because I tried to find some items that are a little bit less talked about and a little bit more interesting. As usual, if you'd like to hire me as your interior decorator, there's a ton of information on my website about that. I would love to help you out no matter how big or small your project is. You can find me on all social media at cooper.osinski, and you can also find my Patreon linked in the description, as well as all of the links to these items. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!